Okay, I'm going to show you what makes a good controller. You're going to ask for a original N64 controller used, but you can say something like with a good control stick or like new control stick for competition or something like that. They might have controllers at any game stores or anything like that, like for competition for people who are into that type of thing. But that's okay if they don't have any. It's not a big deal. So what makes a good controller is it's going to have Nintendo here. It's going to actually be labeled Nintendo. Fakes or replicas don't have the actual Nintendo written down. Also, it might look a little bit like different, or the plastic might feel cheap or light. It doesn't have to be gray. It can come in any color. It could come in like translucent, like grape color or whatever. They all have different names. Like can be translucent. Doesn't matter. Color doesn't matter. The buttons, for the most part, I don't really care about because I can always swap those out with other controllers. The most important thing is the control stick. A very good controller, like basically it will be very tight and you can't even move it without feeling resistance. So like this control stick I would say is a 7 out of 10, or maybe worse, it might be like a 5 out of 10. And that means like compared from brand new, where it has no dead zone, to something that's 0 out of 10 would be like it just moves around and there's like zero resistance, meaning that the control stick is very worn out. Some things to look for is that when you actually feel it, it's very smooth. It doesn't feel like there's anything in the way. Like there's no, like this is already a bit too much movement without feeling resistance. Like it can wobble, I don't know, like 5 degrees each direction or something, or a few degrees each direction. That's not good. If it's like pretty much right in the middle and you feel resistance right away when you're trying to move it, that's very good. That's probably good enough for me for a good control stick. But there are some replacement control sticks that I want you to be aware of that kind of have this feeling that I'm talking about. One of them is this one. It's a flat control stick. It's a GameCube style stick is what it's described as. It's very smooth and is very rigid, but you don't want this because it's like very imprecise. It's basically just not good. It's good in some ways, but it's not the kind of stick that I'm looking for, because those are cheap. You get those on eBay for like $5. It needs to look like, you know, original N64 control stick, and it's going to be really smooth when you move it for the most part. There's another control stick style that kind of looks the same, but it's going to be like a darker gray than this, and it's going to feel kind of rigid, and it won't feel smooth. Like it's not going to feel like it has a good range of motion. I don't expect you to encounter that though, but it's possible. If you're not sure, you can just send me a picture and I could probably identify if it's original or not. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just make sure it's labeled Nintendo. Make sure the control stick has like very little dead zone. Here's another bad controller. So this is a one that I would not get because it can move like pretty much this much. Here, maybe that will help you to see how much it moves. That's too much. This is no resistance, by the way. And you can also tell how used it is by, I don't know if I can get the focus in for the close shot, but on the inside of this, you'll see that there's a lot of gray scratches, and it will look dirty, maybe, inside the actual, like, this part in the bowl. If it looks really bad, then it's probably fairly used. This one is pretty clean, some light scratches, and that's okay if it's like lightly scratched, as long as the stick feels really good. But if it's, you know, looks kind of bad, stay away from it, I would say. Okay, that's it. If you have any other questions, you can ask me, but I think I covered it. Just make sure it actually says Nintendo. You know, original controller is a keyword, and good control stick is another keyword. All right, that's all.